Hello everyone, this is Professor Hill. This is a short video for our class, Introduction to Ethics, Philosophy 2306 at St. Philip's College. And we're in week 1 of our Summer 1 class, an online class in ethics. And I wanted to check in. Today's Thursday the 7th of 2018. And we're looking at Chapter 1 as we prepare for our first case study, which will be due Sunday night. So I had a chance to introduce some of the definitions and concepts out of Chapter 1 of our textbook, Doing Ethics by Louis Vaughn. We talked about ethics being the philosophical study of morality, morality being our beliefs about good and bad, right and wrong. And then we looked at, yesterday, a couple of different types of ethics, from descriptive ethics to normative ethics to meta-ethics, all the way down to applied or practical ethics. And I want to keep talking today a little bit about the next section of Chapter 1, where our author, again, Louis Vaughn, starts talking about, well, if you had a moral theory, if you developed one, what characteristics should it have? And he begins by saying, listen, it should be rational or reasonable. He starts talking about the preeminence of the rational, and he kind of goes pretty far, saying that our emotions shouldn't be involved in our decision making at all. His concern is that we can sometimes be swamped by our emotions and overwhelmed, and that can interfere with our decision making. And I understand his concern, although I would probably approach it a little bit differently. He says we should bracket them all off and not let them have any role. I'd say rather that you should, look, you're a well-rounded, complicated human being. And that means you got lots of different sides. You have a rational side and an emotional side, but also you got a psychological side and a physical side and a spiritual side. You got all these complex dimensions to you. And I would encourage you to kind of bring all of that to your ethical decision making. He goes as far as to say, we should cut these parts out. And look, I don't think becoming a computer or, Mr. Spock or something like that, which is, all logic, I don't think that's going to be helpful. I think you're a human being. You should make human decisions and bring all of who you are to your ethical decision making. Now, the next two parts, he also talks about this, which is, he says, if we're going to have a system of beliefs, they should be consistent and they should be universal. What he means there is that, look, if you say something's wrong, like cheating at St. Philip's College is wrong, it makes sense that cheating would also be wrong down the street at San Antonio College or St. Mary's University or Trinity or Palo Alto, some other place. And that makes sense. You would want it to be consistent so that one thing's wrong. If it's wrong one place, it should be wrong down the street. Makes sense. We'll come back to that one because we have to take it in the context of what we were talking about yesterday, because there's a difference between down the street and culture to culture and society to society around the globe. But we'll come back to that one. The next one is also about the application of these rules or principles in an even-handed way so that no one gets exempted from them. Meaning that if I have a rule that says cheating is wrong for everybody in this class, except for, you, you say, I think the other students would say, well, now hold on a minute. Why? This seems like it's being applied unfairly. We want to make sure that it's applied. All these rules are applied even-handedly and that no one is above the law or above morality in this case. So we want to have the universal principles, but then also apply them fairly and evenly. That makes sense as well. And the last thing he talks about is the sense that the rules reflect the values and customs of a people, that moral norms dominate. In fact, Mark Twain had a great expression for this. He had 6 short words which address this very concept, and that was, he said, that law is sand, but custom is rock. Law is sand, but custom is rock. And what he's saying here is, look, it's the custom, the values and beliefs of a people, of a society, that are the rock bottom. And as those things change over time, the laws will change to reflect them and not necessarily the other way around. And there's lots of examples of that. But I think that makes sense that the moral norms, the values and beliefs tend to dominate and can change laws and other aspects in a society. So those are the characteristics he describes in chapter 1 of our book, talking about if you had a moral system, if you're developing one, if you have one, it should have these aspects to it. These elements of ethics is what he's talking about. So that's a short lesson for today. I'll do a little more tomorrow on the last section of part 1. He's talking about the relationship or interplay between religion and ethics. And I'll have a few comments about that tomorrow. But just in terms of some practical notes, everybody got in the welcome and introductions. I'm going through those now, but it looks like that wasn't a big problem. And again, the whole point of that was to introduce ourselves, but also to get in the habit of making a contribution, reading through the discussion, and commenting on at least 2 of your classmates' original contributions. That's what we're going to do Sunday night for our first case study. So again, make sure you get through chapter 1, you're reading the case study, and you're applying the concepts from the chapter to that first big original contribution. Do Sunday night. Still got plenty of time. Like I said, it's only Thursday the 7th. You got time. So make sure got your book, read chapter 1, and then get to the thinking and application, and then write out your answer for that discussion due Sunday night. As always, if you've got questions, let me know. I'm happy. I've been responding. I've had a lot of them just kind of little logistical things about the book. But if you got any questions at all, just let me know. I'm happy to help. Take care. Bye-bye.